Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 5. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, before I get into it, tonight we will not be having our live because, honey, this episode gave absolutely nothing. I actually fell asleep, and that has never happened to me in the history of me watching Married at First Sight. So we will resume on next week, come rain or shine. Okay, no matter what they talking about, no matter what they getting into, we will get into it on Thursday. So, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. They're in Jamaica. It's day 3 of marriage. So, you know, they show the little montage of all the couples. We see McKinley and Dominique waking up, talking about his snoring. Snooki and Vinny drinking coconut drinks. Clint and Gina pulling things out of her Barney bag. Honey, she was pulling so many things out of this bag. And Clint was like, girl, how did you fit all this stuff in there? We also see Kirsten and Shaq on their way to Jamaica. They're done with the, Mississippi visit of it all. He's done with his research. He's done with schooling. So it's time to go. So they're all getting their day started. Nicole and Chris, aka Snooki and Vinny. So they're having breakfast together, and Chris is waking up in his short set. Baby, Chris gonna give me toddler if he don't do nothing else. So Nicole was like, I'm just so excited to create new memories, to get rid of the old ones. Nicole, let's get through breakfast first. I don't like when people talk about doom and gloom as soon as I wake up. Honey, I don't want to hear about it as soon as I wake up. I don't want to hear about it when I'm finna go to sleep. And I don't want to hear about it when I'm at work. Now, I know this is an accelerated process, so let's get into it if we gonna get into it. But Nicole, let's just wait 1 second, honey. Okay? So she's telling him that she's happy that they're there getting to know each other. And, he said that he's happy that they're there to get to know each other as well. She said, yeah, because, on decision day, we want to make sure that we can make a confident decision. So in the confessional, Chris said that it's been a while since he felt like this about a person. Now, y'all personally know that I want Nicole and Chris to make it. I really do think they both have something great to offer each other. I'm just hoping that they're not trauma bonding and just getting together and talking about the woe is me on vacation of it all. And then when they get to the shared apartment, it's a whole fool. I'm really hoping that's not what this is. But y'all, I kind of ain't been wrong yet. So we shall see. Jasmine and Airris. So they're having breakfast, right? And living a little dangerously because she popping bottles near her eye and whatnot. I'm like, girl, don't pop your eye out. So they're having breakfast, right? He's like, is that bacon again? I mean, I'm not judging. Well, it sounds like you're judging. He's like, do you eat bacon every day? He gonna get on my nerves. Let this woman eat what she gonna eat. She don't look at you and ask you why you eating your chickpeas every morning or whatever it is you eating. Child, leave this woman alone. Talking about, because you had bacon yesterday. Then you had bacon after sir, you've only known her a hot 3 days. Pipe down. So she's asking why his past relationships didn't work. Honey, probably because he was picking at them eating their bacon, honey. Or he was just him. But let's see what he had to say. He said, 80% of it was me. I wasn't mature enough and still ain't. Okay, let's make sure we point that out. He was like, I wasn't mature enough. And I felt like if they would do one little thing, then I would be out. So she said, well, I cut my exes off. That's the reason why we weren't together. And I also work a lot. So that played a big part in what was going on with my relationships as well. So he did say to her, since things are going on with her mom and she's going to have to be at the hospital, he's like, I'm going to be there to do whatever you want me to do. Even walking your 20 dogs, like doing whatever it is you need me to do. Now, that was actually very thoughtful. I just hope it's not words, because Airris strikes me as the type of guy to just say whatever to get in your panties. Honey, married or not, it's still a stranger. Okay. I know people are going to be like, well, they're married, Misha. Yes, they are married, but he don't know her. He don't know her. And as the episode progresses, it further lets me know that my hypothesis may be correct. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And she's like, you can just come to the hospital with me. He said, yeah, I could do that. And she was telling him that it's going to be, like hours of chemo. And Jasmine really does need someone to support her in this hard time. So I am hoping that he is being sincere when he says that he wants to support her, because she just seems so sweet. Like, I hope this is just, oh, honey, this right here going to be a mess. She said some days she just shuts down because of what her mom is going through. And I can totally understand that. So I am hoping that this relationship, on top of what her mom is going through, does not make her emotionally spiral. Because Airris seemed like he's going to be a lot. But he said he's going to be there to help her, child. So we shall see. Moving forward. Dominique and McKinley. So she's super excited. She has a little bathing suit top on and her shorts. And she said it's her first time out of the country. And they're eating breakfast, right? So she asked how the night was. He said it was cool since she isn't a crazy sleeper. They're having a bunch of nothing conversation, so we can continue. Shaq and Kirsten. So they finally arrived to the honeymoon. Hey, y'all. So they get to the room. They're looking around. They're looking at the view. They go outside. When he put his arm around her from the back and she was holding that arm ever so to position him as to say, look, don't get too close. I said, baby, she hate everything about it. She hate everything about it. Go back and watch that scene, honey. Just that scene, because this episode was a snooze fest, okay? Go back and watch that scene, and you will see that he was giving, come here, let me give my hug. And she was giving, oh, Lord, here comes Shaq. That's what that was giving me. So they sit down to talk, and he said, it was a lot with school and, just meeting her, just so much happening all at once. And she says education is super important. So she was happy to be there, after a while. She wasn't happy at first, but after a while, she was happy to be there to support him. And again, same with Airris. I cannot tell when she's being sincere, so I can't speak to what she's saying. Because I feel like Kirsten knows and has been studying Married at First Sight. So she has in her mind, or had in her mind, listen, whoever I get at the end of that aisle, I will not be an Alyssa. I will not be a Mitch. I will not be a bitch. Okay? She has this in her mind. And I just feel like she's playing it up for the cameras. Child, I don't trust it. But that's what she said, honey. He said he was happy that she was actually there and he had someone in his corner to actually see him doing what it is that he does. Well, I mean, you didn't give her a choice if you really want to be real. You was like, girl, we ain't going to Jamaica. We going over here. Okay? But I'm glad that she was there for you as well. I just don't know about these two, y'all. I just don't know. I feel like she should have been given a choice. This is the thing. I know we're focusing on Kirsten not kissing Shaq and things like that. But as I rewatched this episode with bright eyes and bushy-tailed, I noticed that he had some stuff with him as well. Number one is he did not ask her how she felt about going with him. Granted, you want your spouse there to support you, but I feel like that should have been something that he discussed with her rather than just telling her this is where we're going. Okay. And then I also saw something a little bit later in the episode, but y'all got to stick through the review so y'all can get into it as y'all get into it. Moving forward. I mean, it makes me think when he didn't offer her, the choice, that Shaquille is not as thoughtful as he appears to be. And Kirsten just happened to be in Jamaica, honey. So I ain't buying nothing she talking about. Gina and Clint. So they're going out for a day of excursions and she looked like she don't even want to be there, child. They're having this awkward conversation in this van. They're detoured because of water in the road. They're stuck. They're standing outside looking around. Not to mention there's a storm brewing. Child, if that ain't an omen, okay? Because it definitely was a storm brewing. McKinley and Dominique. I don't know if they're on another part of Jamaica, honey, because it looks sunny where they at. I said, how is it doom and gloom over here with Clint and Gina? No pun intended. And then over here, it's sunny as hell. Like, what? So they're going out on the water. She's all in, honey. Poor McKinley looks scared as I'll get out. That water did look beautiful, though. I was like, oh, that water looks beautiful. He was so nervous. She's like, yeah, he's not as adventurous as I am. I'm just trying to block out all of his little comments because he's like saying little stuff. McKinley annoys me. Okay. And I didn't realize how much he annoyed me until this episode. When he get to talking, you know how some people are just good to look at? McKinley is a handsome guy. Don't get me wrong. But when he gets to talking, I'd be like, oh, child, zip it. Just zip it, honey. Moving forward. Shaquille and Kirsten. So they're going out to ride ATVs. And he said that she's way more adventurous than he is. The ATV thing is scary because of his accident. And that's understandable. Especially he said he does everything more cautiously because of that accident. I mean, I do hope that he won't let that hold him back or, hinder him from actually experiencing things, because you only get one life. But I can't say that I understand how he feels, because I've never been in something so horrendous. So him being a little bit nervous about getting on the ATVs, I understand that. But y'all, we don't want to hear about it every 2 seconds now. Okay, we got it. Side note, baby, Kristen got a body. Do you hear me? Kirsten got a body on her. I said, yes, ma'am, for the tights. So they get on the ATVs, they start riding. Child, Kirsten has not even looked back. When I tell you she left him in the dust, watch my dust. She left him in the dust. I said, ma'am, your husband is far behind, honey. I think he's still back at the resort. It reminded me of Nate and Stasha. Remember when they went to ride ATVs and Nate left her behind and then waited at the finish line and started taking selfies? It's giving the twins, honey. It's giving the twins. So she gets to the finish line and he's afraid to go over the water. But he wanted to show her that he could be a good time and that he was brave. So he went on through it. And I am glad that he faced his fears. All jokes aside, you don't know the type of trauma that someone has experienced and what it does to them. So the fact that he was able to go through this water, as apprehensive as he was, I was proud of him for that. So they get off the ATVs. They're standing there and he puts his arm around her again. Okay. Every time he puts his arm around her, she tenses up and she holds his arm. Now, I'm going to tell y'all from experience, when you hold that arm, that means that you're not into that person like that. You don't hold that arm if you're comfortable. You just let them be. You just let them be. But she steady holds on to that arm. Kirsten should have been matched with Dominique, so they can get their adventure on. Y'all know I switch up the couples every season, honey. Kirsten, get on over there with Dominique, child. Clint and Gina. So they're still trying to get to this destination. Honey, I don't know where they are going, but they still trying to get there. The honeymoon gonna be over by the time they get wherever they going, child. So I don't know what they're doing, but they riding still in this van. Jasmine and Airris. So they're about to go snorkeling. Okay, so we do have one adventurous man. Okay. She's like, yeah, he's distracting me because he looks so good without his shirt. Does he, girl? Okay. Child, I didn't even notice. He said his mask wasn't fitting. He was getting salt water in his beard and in his eyes. But Jasmine took care of him and she kept checking on him. Jasmine is just a natural nurturer and he's just a natural taker. She's a giver. He's a taker. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I feel like every time they're in a scene together, she's doing something to take care of him and he's doing something to receive said care. Child, get your own salt water out your beard. Now, I know they married, so of course, yes, I would help my husband as well. But Airris just seems like he just wants to be spoiled. Clint and Gina. So they finally made it to their destination. Ooh, child, I'm so happy for y'all. Are y'all still in Jamaica? Honey, that's what I wanted to know, because y'all been driving for 40 days and 40 nights. All that driving just to get out and take a walk. I said, okay. I'm not about to play with this episode. Oh, honey. So they get to the water, child. Gina takes off her clothes. She's in her bathing suit. I loved seeing Gina's natural body in her swimsuit. I loved it. I said yes for the girls with she got dumps like a truck, thighs like what. Honey, I know that's right. So she has on her bathing suit. They get in the water for just a minute. Really, they just walked through the water. They didn't really just get in. And he said that even though they were going through it to get there, Gina was really calm. And she said, yeah, it's because I just feel like, why freak out over things that I cannot control? So they start talking about her letting loose and finding a vice, even though she doesn't drink or go out. And for me, this conversation was giving awkward. They have zero chemistry. Zero. Do y'all hear me? Nicole and Vinny, aka Nicole and Chris. So they go rum tasting. I'm like, I know that's right, honey. They know how to have a good time. Now, I am not a drinker, but I am also not a water girl. I mean, I will put on my bathing suit just to take pictures by the water, but I would rather sit down somewhere and eat, y'all. So they're taking shots. Baby, they said, we'll watch the water while we drink this rum. Baby, Nicole was throwing them shots back. Shots. Baby, Nicole was throwing those shots back. I said, Nicole, you are too little to be throwing them shots back like that. There is no way that I could have done that. Absolutely no way. So after the rum tasting, the rum guys started dancing, and I was like, what's happening? Chris and Nicole got up, honey, because that liquor is taking over. They got up and did their little TikTok dance. I said, baby, this right here is a fool. So they sit back down after the 1-2 step, and Nicole tells him that this reminds her of old Nicole, when she used to drink, party, pass out, and she was real selfish and didn't care about nobody but Nicole. But at 28, she became the new Nicole and started to care about others and not party as much. Chris said, well, I'm laid back. I'm not really a fighter. Now, I will fight for what's right if I need to. But other than that, I'm a pretty laid back guy. So she was asking him if it was a problem that she isn't as laid back and even keel as he is. And he said, well, I don't know, because I'm not going to let anybody run over me. I'm going to tell you that right now. I said, oh, baby. Chris said, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Come on, baby. Don't play with it. Chris said, this ain't what you want. So he let her know right up front, listen, you will not play in my face. Okay, I'm a nice guy, but I ain't no fool. So in the confessional, he said old Nicole would have been a problem for him with the selfishness of it all. And he doesn't want that. Yeah, Chris, I understand that. Chris looked like he used to get ran over, though. So that's probably why he's like, y'all will not do this to me anymore. I'm standing up for myself. My question is, why are you bringing up Snooki from the Shore House if you have grown into Nicole? You gonna run the man off. Just keep it to yourself. I know that Nicole wants to be transparent with Chris because they had that moment. And so now she's just telling him everything. But girl, you did not have to tell him, this remind me of old Nicole. Like, just keep some things to yourself. Shaquille and Kirsten. So they're sitting down talking after the ATV. She's tired. He's not. He said he's going to work out. She's like, you can go. I'm good. He said, well, we on vacation. We got to look good. She said, I'm going to look good when I get back. Child, I know that's right. Listen, I do not do no working out on vacation. I worked out up until the vacation so I could put on this bathing suit. But when I get here, all bets are off. Okay? I'm on vacation. Child, anywho. So she starts talking about her gaining weight. And he's like, you don't have to worry about that. Because she was like, I hope I don't gain 10 pounds. He said, no, I'm attracted to you. I still feel the same butterflies I did when I first saw you. Shaquille, it's been 3 days. Okay? It's been 3. 1, 2, 3. It's been 3. So she's telling him, well, all wives say this, but initially I wasn't attracted to your bald head. Ma'am, all wives do not say that. All wives do not say that. So she's like, but it's growing on me. The more I spend time with you, I feel a little bit more attracted. Child, Kirsten got a little lying problem. Do y'all hear me? A little lying problem. He said he did feel awkward at first when she said that, but physical attraction grows and she always touches his head. So he thinks she likes his bald head. Shaq, you are painting those red flags orange. She just told you straight up and plain, I was not attracted to your bald head. And she ain't attracted to it 3 days later. Okay? So then she's like, so are you ever afraid to kiss me sometimes? I know you think I'm beautiful. And I know we talked about intimacy. And I told you I'm not really a good kisser. And I don't really like to kiss much. Girl, you just telling him that so he won't ask you for no more kisses. And you're getting on my nerves. Okay? You're getting on my central nervous system. Kirsten, why do you keep bringing up kissing when you won't even give him a peck? Why do you keep doing that? And why do you keep speaking so lazy? Pick your tongue up. So, I know, do you think I'm beautiful? And I know you said that intimacy. And do you get scared to kiss me? Like, girl, just talk. What are you saying? I don't know if it was just me, honey, but that was so annoying to me. I'm like, girl, pipe up. Anywho, and who says I'm not a good kisser and I don't kiss much? That's just your excuse to get out of it. Honey, you might as well say, don't come over here because I'm busy washing my hair. That's what you should have told her. So he was like, well, I'm patient. I just feel like it's kind of like a push off, like you have a guard up. And she gave this age old adage, it's not him, it's me. Okay, girl. Kirsten is full of it. Do y'all hear me? Full of it. So then she's like, I like physical touch. Like when we hold hands, like there's different levels of intimacy. And he's like, yeah, we always touch each other. And she's like, yeah, I actually like that more than kissing. Shaq. Hear me very clear. I'm speaking directly to you, honey. That is her setting you up for the okie doke so you don't expect much. Okay? She gives you just a little bit so that you're satisfied. She's appeasing you with a touch on the leg or a touch on the arm, but don't you put your mouth on hers because it ain't going to work. Clint and Gina. So they're back in the room. They're in the bed. They're in their robes. They're eating lunch. And Gina is talking to him about someone being okay with her independence. And so then she brings up her career and how some men were intimidated by her success. So he was like, so what were they doing? Just out kicking cans? And she was like, well, I mean, basically, I feel like I was always doing too much and they were intimidated by what I brought to the table. So he asked her if she's ever had someone that was like a helpmate to her. And she basically said no. And then she also admitted to him that her picker was off. Now, I can relate because, sometimes my picker is a little bit off. So I understood Gina in that regard. But when she got in the confessional, she was like, yeah, I mean, I have admiration for Clint, but there's not any physical attraction yet. Admiration? Baby, this season's women ain't playing. Do you hear me? Admiration for Clint? Is he a coworker or is he your husband? Child, this is a fool. Moving forward. Jasmine and Airris. So, child, this is where it gets crazy. Honey, y'all come closer. So they're having a romantic dinner. He's like, ooh, yours looks good. You're going to have to feed me some of that. So she gets up and proceeds to go over and do it. So he's like, reach, you need to reach me. No, you need to get your peanut head up and come a little bit closer. Talking about she need to reach you. And then had the unmitigated gall to eat her whole lobster tail. He's so selfish. He is so selfish. See, that's that only child syndrome. That's what I do not want my son to have. That is why I have to give him a sibling, because I do not want to raise a selfish man that is spoiled and entitled like Airris. Now, not all only children behave this way, but Airris is classic textbook child. He is so selfish. So she was like, is there anything that you want to know about me? And so he was like, what's your favorite sexual position? His little beady-eyed self would ask that. What's your favorite sexual position? That's all he worried about. She was like, no, I plead the fifth. She was like, no, I cannot with you. That is crazy. So, she's playing real coy. That's all he thinking about. You don't know her and could be asking her 1,000,001 questions. And you ask her that, what her favorite sexual position is. So then he asks, oh, okay, well then what about your favorite color? Child, that's so elementary school. What's her favorite color, Airris? That's what you came up with. And I told y'all he'd be saying any old thing. I realized that when he was talking to her sisters and he was like, so does she have communication issues? Boy, shut up. Just shut up. So she was like, lavender. So then he goes, well, did you know that a person whose favorite color is lavender, their favorite sexual position is downward facing dog? It's a yoga position and also a sex position. Now, who done let you do downward facing dog on them? Child, I'm not about to play with you. Just ill. Okay, like, ew. It's just disgusting. He sounds like a college kid. He sounds like one of those men, and I bet he's one of those men that sends you a pic. He sends you a D pic after DMing you, why you still up, big head, when they see you on Instagram at night. I can't stand. That's why I turn. See, let me tell y'all something, honey. Let me just give y'all a little tip. On Instagram, they show people that you're online unless you go into your settings and set that you don't want them to show that you're online at this time. I didn't know this until I got an Airris to follow up in my DMs and be like, what you still doing up? And I'm like, how you know I'm still up? Child, what is going on? Because, honey, it's a whole bunch of crazies outside. He seems like the type to be watching people's notifications, child. Soon as he see that fine girl that he been wanting to talk to. What you doing up, big head? One thing leads to another, and now you got his penis in your inbox. I don't like it. Ugh. So in the confessional, he was like, Jasmine is more reserved, but I just feel like she has a demon side, and I got to pull it out of her. And I mean, it's going to be fun. I've never been a sexual mentor. A sex mentor? Child, I bet he ain't hitting on nothing. You ain't hitting on I can almost bet he ain't hitting on nothing, baby. Ooh, child, that cousin need to come get her man, child. So then he asks why she didn't want to talk about sex. He's like, we're both adults. Just because you're both adults does not mean that you're both comfortable talking about sex. And probably because she don't know you. You don't know anything else about her, but you want to know her favorite sexual position. She was like, I'm just more reserved. Like, I'm not just open to talking about sex like that. She's probably not comfortable talking about that on camera, especially to a stranger. You inconsiderate little twerp. He's like, well, I mean, it's giving lady. She's like, I am a lady. He said, it's giving class. She's like, I am classy. He's like, I needed to give whore. Check, please. Check. What did Mirla say on vacation when they were at the at the table, her and Gil. Let me get my check, honey. It's looking like a divorce. Honey, I know that's right. All he wants to do is smash and dash. And child, you can let him have sex with you if you want to. You give enough whore for the both of y'all. So she don't need to give whore. Honey, you give enough for the whole island. The whole cast. We're fine. So in the confessional, she said, I really do enjoy sex. I just need someone to help me enjoy it more. Oh, Jasmine, she gonna be doing everything she can to appease him, bending over backwards, doing downward facing dog. Child, it's gonna be a whole fool. Moving forward. It's the next morning. Everyone's waking up. Gina and Clint are having sign after sign after sign that this isn't going to work. The BFFs are trying to get up, aka Shaq and Kirsten. And Airris is wondering why Jasmine keeps ordering bacon. He is getting on my nerves. Clint and Gina. So they go out. And she's like, I think I could really live here. Oh, it could be a second place for me to put my salon. Gina, I'm tired of hearing about salons. I'm tired of hearing about your salons in the park, honey. I'm sick of it. This is probably why you have ran off every other man. Nobody wants to hear about your job 24 hours a day. I have known you for 5 consecutive episodes, and I have heard about your business 17 times. I don't want to hear it no more. So they order some drinks, and Clint is like, we just click. Things are just great. We just click. So Gina says, yeah, I don't know if you're feeling it, but I'm not feeling this overwhelming chemistry. I'm just not. I said, baby, this hell for crazy. He said, what? I feel the same way. So she then explains that she's been in a relationship where the physical wasn't there, but she does think that it can grow over time. She's like, yeah, I've seen it happen where seeing them in the day-to-day, it made me become more attracted to them. So he said, I'm surprised that she verbalized that so soon, but we're married. So, I'm just gonna stick in there. So he goes, well, no denying that we get along great. Like we really do. So he's saying a lot of positive things. And let me just pause for the cause right here. Clint, I owe you an apology. Judging from the previews, and you know how they like to spin those narratives, honey, I thought that you were the first person to say something about Gina's physique, but you were not. Okay, so my apologies, honey. I'm a grown woman and I can admit when I'm wrong. See, that's why you can't jump the gun. You can't go by these previews. So I will never do that. Not now time no more. So he's like, well, we get along great. So then she proceeds to tell him, well, I told the experts that I didn't vibe with gingery features, and not to say that you're unattractive, but that's what you are. Damn, Gina. Okay, so I see some of these people don't have any filter. You don't have to verbalize everything that you're thinking, especially you, Gina. Is giving Chris from season 12 of all the white queens and Asian queens. Y'all give me Paige. Gina, you're coming across crass, honey. You're the one that told the experts. Now, I vividly remember this. You told the experts that you do not care about physical attraction because it can grow. So why would you cut him off at the knees like that? Like, why would you do that? I mean, I guess I can at least appreciate Kirsten not kissing when she's not feeling him, because Gina is giving fake. You kissing a man in his mouth and then you sit up and tell him, I don't vibe with gingery features. And what is wrong with somebody being a redhead? That is so beautiful to me. Like, why are you putting him down because his hair is growing out of his scalp red? There's nothing that he can do about that. And he's probably heard that all of his life, because whenever someone has a feature that's different from what we normally see, the dark hair or the blonde hair, and they didn't dye it that color, they probably were picked on or ostracized. And I don't understand why. And Gina, that was wrong of you to do that. Like, you need to just fall back. There was no reason for you to tell him that. In the next scene, Dominique and McKinley, they're on their way to dinner, honey. She got on this satin 2001 dress. And who told Dom to take off her fishing shoes? Because, child, she done put on these heels and she almost bit the dust. Baby, that ankle gave out on her. I said, ooh, child, McKinley, catch her, child. She almost fell. So they sit down at the table. He's like, I actually built this table. She's like, oh, so you built the table? He's like, yeah, and I lit those candles. I poured the wax for the candle. Oh, so you poured the wax for the candles. I'm like, oh, my God. So they sit down. They start having dinner. They start talking about the day. And she's like, I am proud of you for actually giving it a go, because I know you were like saying certain things. And he's like, no, actually, I really do want to go like deep sea fishing or just fishing in general. She's like, am I going to have to bait your hook? Probably. So he's like, no, I'm a fisher. I'm a sailman. A sailman? You mean a sailor? Child, oh my God. So then they bring out the food. He's like, I cooked the food too. Calm down, McKinley. It's giving annoying. Okay, it's giving annoying. It's giving you're awkward in situations with a beautiful woman. It's just giving annoying, honey. She's in the confessional. She's like, I think he's joking, but I don't know. I think I'm late to it. Is he joking? Okay. Ooh, honey. She said, but his actions are speaking louder than his words. Girl, say what now? You don't think he actually built the table, do you? She is not picking up on his old man jokes and his shows, honey. But those crickets in the background are speaking louder than all of y'all. Speaking louder than his actions and his words. I was like, what is going on? Y'all, when I heard those crickets in the background, I thought my alarm was going off in my house. Child, I thought somebody was breaking in. Child, I had to run downstairs. I said, what is that noise? I'm trying to see if my son set off any alarm or something. Child, the whole time, it was them in this scene. Dominique is a little dingy, honey. She giving a little bit dingy. I feel like McKinley just want to have sex with a 25-year-old as well. Honey, I'm not sold on him either. Moving forward, Nicole and Chris. So Nicole is at dinner in her second wedding dress. I said, girl, what is happening? So he's telling her that she looks beautiful. And she's like, you're my dream husband. Am I your dream wife? And he's like, yeah, I mean, you are. She said, do you love me yet? No, I'm just kidding. Girl, you ain't playing. So he said, no, not yet, but I can see me getting there. So Chris asked how she felt about kids. And so she explains that she never wanted kids because she just couldn't picture herself doing that because she's a traveler. But as she got older, she tried to figure out, why exactly don't I want to have kids? And I really don't have a good reason why. So I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not in a rush, but I'm not opposed to it. Girl, you don't want kids. You don't want kids because if you did, then you would say, as I got older, I decided, you know what? I want kids. You don't want them. He said that he's always wanted two, a boy and a girl. See, this isn't fair to them because it doesn't sound like she wants kids and it sounds like he really does. Child, the experts strike again. So they agreed to revisit the conversation again in a year or two. And she's like, so are you putting the ball in my court? Nicole, now let's be serious, honey. It's both of your decisions. So why would he just put the ball in your court? Come on now, girl. He did say that they need to decide together. And I'm glad that he didn't just say yes, because I feel like that's what she was waiting for him to say. And then she's like, yeah, so we're on the same page. No, you're not. Girl, you're not even in the same book. Why are the experts setting up people this way when they have different views on things as serious as kids? Child, we already know. To get us watching every Wednesday night. Moving forward, Dominique and McKinley. So they're done with dinner. They're in the pool about to have dessert. He said things are going great. He's excited about her boobies. Okay, he's very excited about the boobies of it all because he's a boob man. He's trying to be funny yet again. He's like, no, I won't have sex with you in this pool. Stop asking me. I won't have sex with you in this pool. She's like, you're just convincing yourself at this point. It's giving nothing. Okay, these two are giving nothing. The crickets are giving more this episode than them. Moving forward, Kirsten and Shaq. So they go out to have dinner. And he's like, you look beautiful. She was like, I was just about to say the same thing. He said, I look beautiful. She said, no, you look handsome. Like, we aren't the same thing. Well, child, let the people tell it, y'all are. I'm just saying. So they start talking. And he said that when they talk, it's always about him. And he wants to know about her. And I thought that was sweet. And it was real because I do feel like they've all only been talking about him. So she said since the panini, she's been kind of closed off into herself. And she said one thing that she needs from him is to stay emotionally connected to her because she's so used to being independent. So now that she has someone, she needs him there for emotional support. So he's like, well, I would just say to you, be more intentional. Like I've always said that you only have one life to live. Like even with my mentees, when I see that they've grown and they've matured and they've become the person that they wanted, it brings me so much joy. And I wish the same for you. Like I want to know as your husband that you're going to be independent. And I also want to be there to support you. She said, okay, so what I need from you is just to naturally talk to me versus presenting your thoughts. Because I feel like you're talking at me. And I 100% understood what she meant by that because he sounded like he was giving a speech. I didn't feel like there was any emotional connection. I felt like he was speaking to one of his mentees, and this is his wife. Like, I know we get on Kirsten, but Shaquille got some work to do as well. They both do. He didn't give her a choice for the honeymoon, so then she tells him what she needs, and he gives her a speech. I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know what it is. He did say, though, that he listens to respond so that the answer is perfect. And she said, well, neither one of us are perfect. Like, we're going to get there. We're going to work through things together. And I thought that that was sweet. And I felt like she was being sincere in that moment. And he said he was going to work on it and do better. And I really did love their conversation in this scene. He really took what she said into consideration. And it was an important conversation to have so that they know what the other expects. And I want them to work so bad, but it probably won't. Moving forward. Jasmine and Airris. So they're playing frisbee, right? He's like, you left-handed? She said, yeah. He said, you write with your left hand? No. She left-handed, but she don't write with her left hand. Sir, what are you talking about? He said, I ain't even know that. Well, you know what? If you would have asked her anything about herself other than her hot pocket, then you would have known that she was left-handed. But you were worried about her favorite sexual position. So there's that. She was like, yeah, everybody in my family is left-handed except my dad and my baby sister. So she's like, yeah, that's my heart. We're super close. He's like, what if she gets super close to me? Sir, no, thank you. Okay, I know what you meant, but it just sounds weird. Please don't say that. She's like, no, why would my sister get close to you? Well, what are you talking about? He said, well, your mom already loves me. Her mom doesn't know you. Okay, and when she gets to know you, that'll change. So they go off to the side and they start talking about, you know, how crazy it is that they are here in this space. And he said if someone would have told him he would have been married and on a honeymoon in Jamaica last year, he would have thought that they were crazy. So then they started talking about when's the last time they've been in love. And she said, well, my last relationship, so recently. And he said, I've never been in love. You know, I love the game, but I've never been in love. What kind of answer is that? I love the game. Who chose Dr. Peppers? Because I think it was you that went to meet him at his mama house or at that Airbnb. Dr. Peppers, I blame you for this. Jasmine, you need to speak to Dr. Peppers. So she's like, you've never been in love? He said, no, never. He said, you know, I've had love for them. Like, you know, if your tire get flat in the middle of the night, I'll come change it or whatever. But I've never been head over heels, googly eyes in love with somebody. Baby, all Jasmine saw in that moment were red flags. She said that knowing he was in a relationship for a year and a half and had no love and wasn't in love with the woman, she couldn't do that. And she's wondering if Airris was just going through the motions. That's exactly what he did. Wasting people's time. He just wants a constant sex buddy. That's what he wants. So she fears if he doesn't like the way that she loves, then he won't fall in love with her either. Well, Jasmine, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. Don't try to make it your life's mission in these 8 weeks to get him to fall in love with you. Because no matter how many grapes you feed him, no matter if you rub his funky feet or his shoulders, or how much you cater to him, I don't see it happening. So don't waste your time. So she tells him, that's kind of weird, you know, for me, especially because it gives me a pressure. He's like, well, it's a good pressure, right? Boy, ain't nobody pressure to fall in love with you. Anywho. And he was like, you know, she said, we only have a short time for us to be in love, to say yes on decision day. You got to be in love. Well, you actually don't have to be in love. Okay, that would be nice, but you don't have to be in love to say yes on decision day. And girls say, what? Love takes time. He said, well, you know, I may not be in love with you at the end and you may not be in love with me at the end. She said, yeah, I know. So then she asked if he had to be in love to say yes. He said, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. It was at that moment she knew he was a waste of space. It was at that moment. The way she was looking at him, he said, if I've never been in love, I don't think it's going to happen in 8 weeks. I don't see it happening then. And that's probably why that girl ghosted you. She wasn't going to let you waste her time. And that was the end of the episode. Child, this is a mess. We had Gina coming out of her mouth saying stuff that didn't make absolutely no sense to say when we didn't really need for it to be said. Nicole keeps referencing all of her past transgressions and how she used to be selfish, and it's giving Chris cause for pause. Pump your brakes, Nicole. Kirsten is lying and trying, and I don't know what Shaq doing, child. McKinley and Dominique, they just boring. And Dominique, girl, take them shoes off. Y'all comment down below, honey, and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.